Hello everybody, my name is Delia Arriaga. In this video, I will be informing you on how the Western democracies stumbled after World War I. In 1919, Britain, France, and the United States, the three Western democracies, appeared powerful. They controlled the Paris Peace Conference along with Italy and pushed hopes for democracy through the new nations of Eastern Europe. A lot of children who may have become some of the world's greatest leaders were killed in the Great War. However, the biggest issues were finding jobs and rebuilding war-damaged lands. World War I brought economic devastation to France. After World War I, there was an estimated 7% of the population either dead or incapacitated. More than 7 million acres of land were destroyed, as well as more than 3,000 miles of railroads, and about 220,000 homes were also destroyed. The total of deaths in France was about 1,697,800. However, France did gain more territories. France gained some of Germany's African territories and some territories in the Ottoman Empire. World War I was devastating to France in many ways. One way was the fact that many young men were killed in battle. With France's already low birth rate, this great loss of human life affected many phases of everyday activity. Additionally, much of the fertile Northland was taken out of farming for nearly a decade. As part of the reparations, France required Germany to pay huge amounts of food and money to France. In return, Germany grew vengeful of France, and unfortunately, this led to World War II. Ultimately, victory was nothing to celebrate for France. Great Britain also struggled after World War I. Just like France, the loss of human life was a huge issue. Britain had paid a horrible price for their victory. Soon, the public became aware of the issue and agreed that the war was a horrible mistake. Britain also struggled economically. It was in a huge debt. With its factories out of commission, unemployment was common. Wages were low, thus leading to frequent strikes. Despite all the loss France and Britain obtained, the United States had actually prospered. They emerged as the world's leading economic power. As long as the American economy had no issues, the global economy had no issues. However, this American economy prosperity would not last long. Along would come the nation's worst nightmare. The Great Depression began in the United States in 1929. This depression soon spread to many parts of the world. A lot of people from Britain, France, and the US lost their jobs. Hunger was a huge problem, so they visited soup kitchens and formed long bread lines. Those that were unemployed frequently visited places like this. There were cities where their bread lines spanned multiple city blocks. Many people became homeless. Of course, this was not by choice. Thousands of people had to sacrifice themselves in order to survive. They had to leave their home and seek work in cities they knew nothing about. Some were obligated to live in shantytowns, or they had to live on streets where they couldn't afford to pay for housing. This situation was like scale of some sort. It was hurting people, but at the same time, it was helping others. There was a song that existed to sum up the mood of the time. It was named, "Brother, Can You Spare a Dime?" Until the start of World War II, the United States would recover. The stock market collapsed in 1929, as well as more than half of the American banks. This event affected many people, even though they had not bought stocks. The majority of people ran to their banks trying to save their savings. This was due to many people fearing the banks would lose their money because the majority of banks invested in the stock market. Black Tuesday was October 29, 1929. It was the day the stock market crashed and sent everybody into panic. What caused Black Tuesday, you may ask? Well, One of the key reasons was the way many investors handled the stock market in 1920s. Many investors would not keep good track of their money and investments. Another key reason was the way investors would buy their stock markets. Many investors used money from their brokers, so when the stock market collapsed, they were in trouble. Most brokers called back the loans, and most investors found their entire life savings lost. Some investors could not bear the thought of losing all their life savings, therefore they jumped out of windows or found other ways to tragically end their lives. There were major parts to the Great Depression, including suicide deaths. During the Great Depression, suicides reached an all-time high rate. About 23,000 suicide deaths occurred during the first year of this national tragedy. There were many ways people committed suicide. For example, many people will rent hotel rooms and jump from the window, meeting a very tragic ending. Governments all around the world tried to find solutions to this depression. Most solutions did not provide long-lasting changes. Overall, the 1920s were a time of despair and pain. These conditions ultimately set up the world to go to war, thus beginning World War II.